What's up, guys? Prodigy here, bringing you guys a live charting video for the fourth week of January. This is the last week. We're going to create a trade plan on the S&P 500 and see what we can get into this week coming up. This is the week of the 23rd to the 27th. So I'm going to start it up here pretty soon. I'll be right back. I'm going to wait to see if a few members are going to join, see if they're going to tune in with us. If not, we're just going to continue on and live chart our whole process, which should only take about like 15-20 minutes. And then I'll post it right on YouTube so that if anybody missed it, they'll be able to watch it. So let's get right into it, guys. Be right back. All right, I'm back, and we're going to start with the higher time frames as usual, which is my biggest recommendation. You should not start on no 15 minutes to do your macro trade plan. So what you see on my screens with all these lines are just the simple moving averages, abbreviated to SMAs. And below here, underneath my volume chart, is the RSI. And so I just use this on bigger time frames to determine the momentum of where we're heading. And I actually cleared my chart, so we're going to start fresh and see what we can come up with. So let's get right into it. As we can all see, we already know that if you grab on the weekly time frame, this is the weekly time frame, so that means each candle represents 1 week of trading action, of price action, of people buying and selling the trade back and forth constantly throughout a week time frame interval. So if I grab the highest wick of the high, which was 479.98 last year on the 1st or the 3rd of January, we can all tell that we have just been downtrending, and we eventually did try to break out of it, but that was due to news, and then we just rejected it and came right back down. So this is the weekly time frame, like I said, and so far we got that macro weekly downtrend that we are currently around, and so that's just something that we're just going to keep on watch. With all these SMAs that I have, we are above the 20 SMA, below the 50 SMA, and we are above the 200. So the higher the SMA setting that I have, so pretty much the 20 is pretty much like a weaker one, the 50 is a little bit stronger, and the 200 is like the strongest. So that's just giving you a little bit of a idea of where we're at. So they're not something that I completely rely on, but you can just see on the 50 we're just rejecting it, not perfectly, but you can see that if we get above the 50, I'll be pretty bullish. I'll be pretty bullish if we can get above the 50. If we reject the 200 eventually on the macro, I'll be pretty bearish. But so far, we just have not yet to do that. We did a try here in October of last year, but we didn't do it yet. So if I was to even grab the macro downtrend, there is a trend line that I can grab, but we're not going to do all that because that's not anywhere close to where we're currently at as of right now. So let's get right into it, into a lower time. Let's go now to the daily. And we're going to eventually move all these extra stuff that I have on my screen pretty soon. So right here on the daily, you can see that these SMAs are still valid on the daily time frame, but anything lower than the 4 hours is pretty much invalidated for these SMAs because they don't work well on the lower time frames. Pretty much they're mostly used for the higher time frames, and you could use it for lower time frames, but you have to change the setting. You cannot use 20, 50, and 200. So you can see on the daily time frame that we are actually right underneath the 200. We got the 20 SMA curling up to the upside, and we just broke above the 50. We do have some nice support with these SMAs right here, with the 50 short-term SMA. And if we look on the daily, we actually had a nice little bullish divergence that happened. Now, I was looking at this too on Thursday. I didn't post or anything, but it was just something I saw. And you can see that this is creating lower highs while this is creating higher highs. So that's just something that I have on watch. as well. And like I said, it's not something that I rely on completely. It's just something that I have on watch and I'm noticing. So I'm curious on how this is going to play out, if we're going to break above this trend line and go above it on the weekly and break above this 200 on the daily, which will be a good indication for some bulls. If bulls can take over, then that would be good for some nice calls on the macro. But we're going to get down to the 4 hour and the 1 hour here pretty soon, and we're actually going to eliminate these SMAs on my screen here pretty soon too, so it'll be less confusing. But so far on the daily, if I zoom in on the daily, what I like to do next is compare the volume and these candlesticks and look at price action for what happened these past few days. So let's look at some good stuff right here. So if I was to take any type of calls, I'm definitely going to be waiting to take some calls on this high wick of this I believe this is Thursday. So this is last week on Thursday. I'm gonna be looking to take calls above this 412 level. So I'm gonna set a 400. And there's a lot of reasoning on why I'm taking calls above here, but we're not gonna get too deep into that as of right now. For a very simple reason, though. It's just because I would just love for it to break this lower high and create some new highs. And so I would just love for that to happen. And it is a potential, because look at this. We got this fat solid candle, nice gap down, which we filled fast on Friday. Not only that, this is actually a bullish reversal candle. It's a doji or even a morning star. On top of that, we got this bullish convergence divergence going on. Got some nice support on the 20 SMA. Broke the 50 right here on the on the 200. So I'm curious if we're gonna break above this and try to continue on up. But look at the buyer volume. It's way more than average, which my average is this pink line that you see right here. So we had more buying volume than average than these past few days, all the way until the 6th of January, which was the only time that we had this much buying volume. And so that's just something I'm looking for. I'm not saying that I'm completely bullish, but there's just a decent amount of bullish signs on the daily and the weekly so far. If you want to, you can even argue that this looks like a cup and handle formation, a slanted one, because look at the cup, and it's creating some type of handle. So potentially boom. And I'll post what a cup and handle looks like right here. Let's bring it down to the 4 hour and let's get rid of these. So this is what the 4 hour looks like, and like I said, it's kind of creating like some type of cup and handle, which would need a break. And we'll go over that eventually over time, but so far that looks like something that could play out for some more bullish continuation to the upside on a break of 412, which this is where I'm taking calls at, which I'm actually even going to put calls. Boom. And you're probably asking, where do I plan on taking puts at? Well, I plan on taking puts below 387.26. This is where I'll create a zone. Could either create one with this low right here, but I'm probably almost likely gonna do one right here and use that low. Whoa. So just to get it perfectly set, 387.68. Type that in. 387.26, which is perfectly set. All right, boom. So that's where I plan on take puts at. I plan on take puts below the break of this low. And the reason why I said this is because look at these, the high of this mixed with the low of that. There's even a nice low right there at 387.18. And I would love for it to break on down and, you know, take profits right here. So I even set a level right here. I'll even set a level right here at 385.74. Boom. That's just pretty much like a price target for puts. But so I got a call level area where I plan on taking calls. And this is where I'm going to take puts at. Price target for puts. If I had a price target for calls, well, I'm just gonna play it how I plan on doing it. I mean, if I was to take some price targets, it'd be the low of this wick right here, 300 or 492. Or even the high of right around these two areas. You know, I even plan on taking calls again on the break of these. Reason being, it would be like a lot of new highs. Pretty much these two breaks. That'd be nice for a nice continuation onto the bull side. So that's pretty much just what I got going on. And I also do have my own levels that we'll be playing with. You know, I have those. I have these. But I will keep it real simple and keep this up for a solid, simple trade plan. So I see a lot of bullish continue. I see a lot of bull signs. So I will just be waiting for some calls. We're in an uptrend, just like Metanoia has said earlier in his tab. We are creating a lot of higher lows so far. So, I mean, so far we're just uptrending. I really am just looking mostly for calls. If we can break above this 400 level, I'm taking calls. If we come down, break below this level, I'll take puts. Maybe even be safer, wait for this lower high, a break, and take some more puts. So that's pretty much that, guys. Keeping it real simple. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for live trading. Let's get it.